Hello fans of Murder and Mayhem! Welcome back to Frybox64 Productions. I am your hostess with the mostest, Frybox64. Over there, off camera, you can't see him, but he does exist and he is here. It's some guy named Joe, also known as my camera guy, also known as our producer. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we are going to take a fear/anxiety test. This is basically a little 20 question quiz on the website fearof.net, which talks about phobias and anxieties. And the actual quiz itself says, do you have an anxiety disorder? Test your fear level. And we're gonna go ahead and start recording this. So basically Joe and I are going to take this quiz and we're going to see if either of us has an anxiety disorder, or if not, at least what we're afraid of. So I'm going to read this a little bit here. This anxiety test will help assess your fear level and the way a social situation or a specific object plays a role in your life. Often, people confuse normal anxiety symptoms with phobias. Millions of people experience butterflies in their stomach, sweaty palms, pounding heart at the thought of making a presentation or meeting someone, etc. However, some individuals literally become ill at the mere thought of being in such a situation. For these people, even making a phone call, ordering and eating food, or encountering other seemingly non-threatening situations/objects can seem sickening and may cause a full-blown panic attack. The anxiety test will help determine if you could be suffering from an anxiety disorder. So, without further ado, let's get started. Joe, you may hit start your quiz if you haven't already. Alright, question 1. Do you experience shortness of breath, sweaty palms, and or racing heart at a particular situation/object for no apparent reason? I'm gonna hit not always, because sometimes if I have to do something or speak to somebody or even go back on the phone after a break at work, sometimes I'll be like, ugh, I really don't want to do this, and I'll get nervous, and other times I'll just be super chill, like with my most recent show, where everybody was nervous, and I was like, so, what's your question 1, and how are you answering it?
That was my question 4, so I'll just play along with whatever the questions you have.
How did you answer that one?
I'm just going to go with not always, because there's always that initial stage fright that's just kind of normal-ish.
Are you troubled by fear of objects, animals, situations where getting help or escaping may seem difficult? I think I need to reread that question. I don't feel like I'm in that situation very often, so I'm gonna say no.
Nah. That's my number 20.
That's your number 20, oh, okay. And how did you answer? Did you answer no?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are 2 for 2 right here.
Creepy clown dolls and things like that don't tend to bother me, neither do animals.
Things just make me angry. Things that are supposed to be scary just make me angry. I want to hit them. I don't know why. I'm violently yellow. Don't you make that face at me. I can see you over there. Do you avoid visiting neighbors or other people because you are afraid of seeing their dog? Heck no! Heck no! I love puppies! I'm the kind of person who, if you go to a party, you will see me sitting in the corner playing with the puppy. And whenever the puppy comes in the room, I immediately abandon whatever conversation I have going on just to play with the puppy. I'm all about the puppies. I'm guessing your situation is probably the same.
I talk to my neighbor's dog more than I talk to my neighbor. On both sides.
We are dog lovers here.
Yeah, on both sides. I don't know either of my neighbor's last name, but I know all 3 dog names to the left and the dog's name to the right. What breeds they are and how old they are.
Question 4, moving right along, is are you unable to travel alone or sleep alone in the dark? I'm gonna say sometimes sleeping alone. That's usually, and not even really after watching a scary movie or reading a horror novel. It's mostly if I have a nightmare maybe and I wake up in the middle of the night and it's I don't want to leave my bed, but I don't want to go back to sleep. That type deal? I don't know. Did you have that question, and what did you put for the answer?
Oh, you know me. I can sleep just about anywhere under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Light, dark, alone, not alone, at an awkward angle with tons of noise around me. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It could be Armageddon. I could take a nap.
Let's see. My question 5 is: does your fear cause problems with your loved ones in such a way that it affects your relationship? I would say no. I would say no. You know, a lot of times if I wouldn't say it's fear, it's more like rousing myself and motivating myself to like go out and do things with people. That's about it.
Seems legit.
What did you put down for that?
I don't have a problem with that. Not much bothers me.
Moving on, question 6. Have you been feeling disinterested in life, or do you feel sad more often than not? Occasionally, I'll put occasionally, but only because I feel frustrated with my current schedule, how I work in the morning, and then have like an hour to eat food, and then I go to rehearsal. It's a very, like, today and yesterday I actually didn't have to go to rehearsal, and that just, that made me happy. If you notice, I actually posted some stuff yesterday because I actually had time to do stuff, so that's the only reason I've been sad. What about you?
No real disinterest in life or sadness. Kind of a hunger for things to do, though. I mean, that's about it. But you know.
We need to get you a bucket list made up. We need to do that.
Sure.
We need to sit down
Put
and
that on your bucket list. Make a bucket list for some guy named Joe.
make a bucket list for some guy named Joe. We're just gonna like pull up these random little like web searches and be like, okay, here's lists of things to do and places to go. Pick something. Roll a D100. Grab whatever you get on that list and let's go.
Let's roll a couple.
Question 7. Do you persistently worry about encountering specific objects, situations, or animals, such as spiders, snakes, lizards, heights, flying, etc.? Yeah, I'm gonna answer not always, only when they are present. What's your answer?
Not bothered by any of those specifically. I don't really worry about encountering them. I only start to worry should I encounter them, and usually only if it's like heights or flying.
Yeah.
It's like I live by a creek. There's snakes all over.
It's like, I have never flown. I would love to go flying at some point in my life. I'm the only member of my family that hasn't flown. That is sad. Been on the ground my entire life. Question 8. Do you feel queasy while climbing a tall ladder? No. I'm gonna say no. Heck, I have climbed, like, not even real ladders, like little makeshift ladders where you, like, climb up on, climb up a shelf or something and grab something. That is short life, though. I am short. I am used to climbing up on top of things to get the things I need. Adapt, improvise, overcome. Anyway, what you saying?
Not really anymore. When I was younger, yes, but anymore, my coworkers have paid me in the past to do things like clean gutters, and that's on a second-story house. I've been on a very tall ladder before.
Does it make you queasy looking off the ladder, though, or thinking about the
No,
ladder?
because I have to throw stuff out of the gutters, and sometimes I gotta make sure nobody's down there, and I haven't gotten vertigo yet.
I mean, you could just throw it on top of somebody, that'd be funny.
And I would feel horribly guilty.
You feel guilty? That's a first.
Don't narc on me.
Question 9. Do you refuse to attend a friend's party because it is on the 25th floor of a building? I'm just gonna say no, because I like heights. I'm weird. I like roller coasters. I like high things. So, yeah, I'd be okay with that. Granted, I've never attended a 25th floor birthday party. I'm guessing that'd probably be a really, rich person thing, but yeah, there's no way I'd get invited to that. So, yeah, but anyway, I'm guessing you'd probably feel some level of anxiety with that, no?
The Holiday Wine Show, 23rd floor, Ruan Building, Embassy Club, was a party to remember. Don't care that I was 23 floors up, that was a memorable party. Did not even care. I was having such a great time. I walked right up to those windows, even though there was literally no little guard on the bottom or on the top. Your shoes started is where the window started. It was a straight out thing. It was an awesome event.
So as long as there's wine, Joe will be okay.
As long as there's wine, man, it could be on the 50th floor. Sure, screw it. Double or nothing.
Question 10. Have you recently experienced changes in your sleeping or eating habits? Sometimes, I'm gonna mark it sometimes when I have a stressful day ahead on account of we've had overtime at my workplace recently, meaning I had to come in earlier than usual to start my shift, so I guess that would be a change in my sleeping habit, but...
Unless it's a really stressful day that's already passed, this goes back to the can sleep anywhere at any time. Like,
sleep anywhere at
yep.
any time. This next one that I have, do you avoid promotions because they involve air travel? I'm gonna mark no, because like I said, I have never been in the air before. I have never flown. So, yeah, I actually would love the idea of getting a promotion and being flown somewhere, because then I could actually mark that off my bucket list. Like, go and fly for once. And finally make it so all my family members have been in the air before. So, like, if work offered you a promotion, but you had to, like, do air travel for it, would you try to avoid the promotion or no?
no, because if it involves me traveling, that means they're probably going to pay me a lot of money and cash talks. That's like, I'd probably be worried the first few times, but then I'd see that paycheck coming, I'd be like, ha ha, worth it.
Freaking take like a horse tranquilizer or something before you get on the plane.
Dramamine is what you're looking for. Motion sickness and helps you sleep. It's Dramamine.
Question 12. Do you go to great lengths to avoid that feared situation? So basically, if there's a situation that you're afraid of, do you go to great lengths to avoid that? I'll say sometimes. Because, like, if I see somebody that I know but I haven't spoken to in a while, like at a grocery store or something, I'll, like, walk the other direction. But if they're in the direction that I need to go to get something, I'll walk that way. I'll risk it. Because I'm a daredevil that way.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'll just like, whatever.
What'd you put? You put yes? No.
I'm not gonna go to no great lengths. I got the time!
Question 13. Do you feel so anxious that your face turns red, your heart races, and your voice cracks because you feel people are staring at you? If there's a situation that, like, warrants people staring at me, if people actually are staring at me, then sometimes, I'll mark it sometimes, but I do get by.
You know me, speaking to large groups of people is something I can't.
Super calm.
Yeah, I was like, you've seen me in large groups of people. I can walk up and make a presentation to 100 people without a problem.
It's like, I guess the question's asking, like, do you get anxious because you feel like people are staring at you? It's like, I don't get anxious because of that. I might get anxious if a ton of people are staring at me and I know I did something wrong.
I want them to stare at me to pay attention, I suppose. I guess I'm looking at this from a different perspective. Like when I was an MC in that convention panel that one time.
Oh yeah, like you're...
It's like, I'm like, if 100 people are staring at me, that means I have their attention. I'm like, good. Now pay attention. Like, I feel like a bad teacher in that way. It's like, now pay attention, young ladies and gentlemen.
It's like, here, I shall drop my pants. Are we all looking at me? Good. Pants are going back on.
Now back to business.
We're continuing with this. Do I have to stand here in my boxes, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, kind of like that, except without the flashing of the penis.
Question 14. Are any specific fears affecting your day-to-day life? I mean, unless you count the existential fear of the fact that I'm 26 and I'm working a dead-end job that, like, a teenager could handle and haven't really done anything substantial with my life except put together a bucket list that I've only, like, knocked a few things off of. maybe, but it's an oddly specific fear. Otherwise, I'm just gonna say no, nothing really big. I don't have any unresolved issues. And I'm seeing he's back there. He's like, what the heck's going on with her? What do you say to them?
My God, that got deep. This is a YouTube show, not Dr. Phil.
Hey, Dr. Phil's actually really popular right now among the meme community. We can get big off this.
My God, that was intense.
I just saw you like sitting over there like, oh, no, Rybox, no.
My God, that was morbid.
Laughing at my own pain, everybody. Okay. So I'm guessing you probably answered no to that.
I have basically the same thing as you, but how do you think I feel? I'm 30. I'm older than you. How do you think I feel? I go to a job where I basically have to talk to people on the phone. Well, no, I don't even get to do that anymore.
Yeah,
I don't even get to talk to human beings.
You're on chat now.
Yeah, I know. I only have to talk to people online. It's the quietest job. I have 8 hours of clickety-click, clickety-click. It makes me... That's a fear right there.
I mean, if they put me on faxes and just had me do that all day, I'd be happy, but... question 15. Have you been refusing invitations because you are afraid of embarrassing yourself? I'm going to say sometimes, but not because I'm afraid of embarrassing myself. Mostly because I say maybe if someone invites me, and then I either have to cancel because I don't have the time, or I don't have the energy. Like, I'll come home and I'll be like, oh, Ginevra has a birthday party in like 2 hours, and I haven't eaten yet, and Jellybean needs to be run around, and I need to take a shower and all that yet. I really just don't feel like going. I don't want to be around people. So that's why I refuse invitations sometimes, but I mean, otherwise I can usually like muster up the motivation to go, and when I go, it's fun, so it's good. What do you have to say about this?
That's the same. It's like, I don't really have any problems with, like, I'm refusing no invitations, but damn, who has the time?
I know, right? Yay, adulthood!
Boo, adulthood. Send me back to... Oh, now I feel...
You know, I don't miss high school at all. Oddly enough, I don't miss high school. I don't miss the drama that came along with that.
I followed a little bit in college, but thank goodness most of that cleared out.
I know, right? Question 16. Have these fears interfered with your performance at work or school? No. I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing things. Like, when I get on the call, I have, like, the whole greeting memorized. I just go, like, into work mode. Like, nothing really bugs me. I compartmentalize that. I go on break and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to do this. Then I go back in the work mode. Hi, how can I help you today? Back onto break mode. Yeah, no, I'm good at compartmentalizing stuff.
I copy and paste entire conversations with customers because that's literally the entirety of my job. I don't even know if I'm conscious at my job some days. I don't. Like, I'm just like, highlight, copy, paste, wait for response. Highlight, copy, paste, comeback, or retort, or follow-up statement. Repeat until they are done. Next!
You're like, Joe, why did you give me the uniform dress code of the employee handbook? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Well, you know how we dress now!
I'll be like, okay, I have updated your count. Do you have any other questions? No, thank you, bye.
No, but why did you give me information about when benefits are available at your job? Oh, shoot, I was copying and pasting the wrong thing, sorry.
I haven't accessed the employee handbook in so long I forgot my password. I actually have no idea how to even access it currently.
I don't even remember half my passwords at work.
I tried to access it the other day, and like, your account's been locked out for like a year, and I was just like, that tells how often I read this stuff.
Question 17. Are you so troubled at the thought of public speaking that you have turned down promotions or jobs? No. Very much no. I like talking to people. I'm guessing yours is probably the same answer, because, yeah. Money and good with talking in front of people.
Yeah, it was like talking in front of people. It was, until 2 weeks ago, like 95% of my job. And they robbed me of that.
Have you, 18 for me, have you used alcohol, illegal substances, or drugs recently, which caused problems at work/school with loved ones? Well, it didn't cause problems. And here I am thinking of the Disney marathon that we had freaking last weekend.
Man, that was a party.
we had enough alcohol at my house to supply a small sorority, and there's still a pretty good amount of that at the house. But still, much imbibing was done, much fun was had.
The whiskey was getting poured for shots, and then the ouzo was out, like 5 bottles of wine later.
Somebody started mixing the strawberry agua fresca with like strawberry or like Moscato or like the strawberry cream stuff, and she's like, that was good. And
Yep, they were doing the agua fresca and the Moscato, making wine spritzes with fresh juice. Which, to be fair, is a genius idea, to be fair. I'm surprised that nobody else thought of that until they did it. I'm just like, props to them.
So I would say no.
I ain't got the time. I have to get up for work at 6 a.m. I don't got the opportunity to have alcohol affect my job performance.
Question 19. Oh, we're getting almost to the end here, guys. 2 more. Do you often feel sad, depressed, or guilty? I mean, it happens, so I'm gonna go with it happens. I mean, it's going to happen. We're not gonna be happy all the time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And like said, I usually feel kind of weird about my job situation where I am in life, but other than that, I mean, I'm pretty good. It happens.
Yeah, about the same with me. If someone is purely happy 24/7, 365, part of me slightly hates them.
Part of me wants to know what drugs you're using and where can I get some of that?
I just look at the situations like that and be like, man, the amount of Prozac they must be on. God, that's gotta be
How can I get a hold of that?
It's gotta be a blissful existence.
Last one for me, number 20. Do you fear that your actions will embarrass you or that you will humiliate yourself in front of others? I'm gonna actually say yes to that one. Because for the longest time, like, it's gonna seem kind of hard to believe, but for the longest time when I first started this channel, I was terrified that people were gonna look at my videos and laugh and be like, and not in the good way laugh, just be like, oh, that's like a really horrible channel, that's a really horrible idea, how did she come up with that idea? Or if I was writing like a story or something, I would be afraid that people would read it and be like, ugh, this is horrible, why would anybody want to write something like that? Who came up with that idea? And that would be embarrassing, and I didn't want to do a YouTube channel for a while, but gradually I've been getting over it. A little bit. How about on your end there?
I don't really care what other people think if things happen, I suppose. I just kind of have a wing it attitude. You've known me for long enough that you know this is true. And it's like, I will embarrass myself just on purpose as long as it elicits laughter on occasions. I will walk up on stage and shoot myself square in the foot with gusto. It's like,
with gusto!
I was like, this is the worst role you could ever give to someone like me and have them do it. I'm gonna make this so bad people laugh at
We're
this
gonna
point.
make this weird.
Yep. I was like, we're gonna do this live, everybody.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm afraid that, like, people will wind up laughing at me for the wrong reasons, but at the same time, if I start something, it's like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's my entire
do it
philosophy.
live. Alright, finish the quiz! Oh. The average score is like 44.47%. My score was 27.5%. Where's your score at?
Really low.
How low?
5.
5? Oh gosh. Let's see, a high score. Let's see. I reached 11 of 40 points. What was yours? 5 of 40 points, or what was yours?
2.
Yours was 2.
That still means I could be suffering from mild anxiety.
You could be suffering from mild anxiety disorder. Okay, so Joe apparently could be suffering from a mild anxiety disorder. Anxiety is very common and millions of people experience it daily, especially when it comes to public speaking, presentations, etc. There are many remedies and self-help techniques for overcoming this, and you'll get better at overcoming your fear with practice and gradual confrontation. 10 plus points indicate that you might have at least one phobia that greatly affects you in certain situations. It can also be a fear towards an object. Your anxiety may lead to a full-blown panic attack that causes sweating, racing heart, dizziness, and the desire to flee or hide. If this is affecting your social relations or performance at work or school, please seek help now. Many therapies are available these days, and you could try self-help techniques like meditation and gradual desensitization, cannot English today, to the situation or object that triggers your fear. Apparently I have a phobia.
No, read that disclaimer at the bottom.
I know, it's not intended to be medical advice or basic some diagnosis, but apparently according to this thing, I may have at least one phobia, and I feel I'm a rather level-headed individual. But then again, I like to punch things that are supposed to scare me, so yeah, I don't know.
Wait till you see her play D&D. Her first solution is light it on fire.
Light it on fire! Well, technically my pixie's kind of the IV bag of the group, but...
One burns people, the other one heals people.
Yes. Alright, so since we have determined that apparently I may or may not have some sort of phobia, may or may not, it's not supposed to be an actual diagnosis, maybe we should figure out what type of phobia that might be. So here we are, we're on another fear test for Loner Wolf. It's lonerwolf.com. What is your biggest fear? Free psychological test. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's all like there's 5 different fear profiles in the test, so I guess it'll tell us what I'm afraid of. So what is your biggest fear? Take this quick test, and if you dare, post your answer in the comments. No, please, no. Alright, first up, you are having a nightmare. What type of dream are you having? I'm being chased by a monster who wants to kill me. I'm being tortured or mutilated. I'm trapped or paralyzed and can't escape. I've fallen and I can't get up. Someone close to me has tragically died. I'm being humiliated in front of others. I actually had a dream like this the other night. I had this dream that my bunny Jellybean was back to being 2 years old, and she was sick and she was dying, and nobody in my family was helping me, like, take her to the vet or take care of her. And I was, like, sobbing uncontrollably in my dream, so when I woke up the next morning, I just cuddled Jellybean as tightly as I could. I was like, you're not gonna die, you're not gonna die, you're fine. So I guess someone close to me has tragically died. Ooh.
I'm gonna go for the monster, because I like that one. That sounds fun.
When you listen to the news, what disturbs you the most? Suicide bombers? Brutal abuse and extreme physical cruelty? Harsh lifelong jail sentences and those who are trapped, for example, underground due to natural disaster? Kidnappings and those who lose their entire families in, I'm assuming that means horrific accidents? Public scandals and those whose reputations are permanently destroyed. Oddly enough, I honestly would go with the public scandals and those whose reputations are permanently destroyed, because...
I'm not the only one who's saying that.
Because, like, you don't understand. If you, like, I read a blurb for Nancy Drew book one time, way back when I was a kid. Yeah, because I was a nerd, I read Nancy Drew as a kid. And in one of the stories, one of Nancy's friends in high school, her father was accused of embezzling money from the bank that he worked for, and he was, like, acquitted. He was found not guilty. There wasn't any evidence linking him to it, but all of the girl's friends and all of the father's co-workers, everybody just looked at him in a completely different light because his name was permanently tarnished after that. Like, you might not have done it, but people are gonna be like, oh, that's the person that supposedly did this. Your name is ruined after that. So it could, like, just one bad thing and you're done, man. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Did you go with that one?
Yeah. I didn't really like any of the options, but that was one that I would least agree with.
What seemingly normal life experiences freaks you out? Flying in airplanes? Going to the dentist? Serious commitments? Losing friendships? Or public speaking? Honestly, none of them really freak me out. I actually want to fly in an airplane. We've covered this before. I want to fly in an airplane. Maybe losing friendships? But even at that, like, there are some friendships I could stand to lose, if you know what I mean. You laugh, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, darn tootin'.
What did you pick?
I'm gonna go for flying in planes because I do not like heights. I mean, I'd probably get over it, but I would definitely be really nervous my first time in a plane.
What would you prefer to avoid the most? Walking outside at night completely alone. I've done before. Getting flu shots / needle injections. I donate blood. I get stabbed all the time. I'm fine. Spending too much money. Oh gosh.
Yeah, no,
I almost don't need to read the other two.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
yes,
I'm looking
spending
at
too
that.
much money. That is it. Oh gosh, I will spend like $20 on something and then have a freaking panic attack because I'll be like, oh my gosh, I gotta calm down and stop spending so much money.
I know the feeling. It makes me almost like want to cut my hand off and like sheer anger and anxiety with myself. When I
This
spend
is what
money.
happens when you're responsible and or have like house and car payments to make. What saddens you the most? The fact that we all die. I mean, we do all deserve to die. Even you, Mrs. Lovett. Even I.
Points.
The fact that we all must experience physical pain. Some people deserve it. The fact that we will grow old and lose our autonomy. I feel like that would be something you'd be afraid of. The fact that our loved ones will eventually leave us in one way or another. The fact that we all will be traumatized by others in some way. I'm gonna say the fact that our loved ones will eventually leave us in one way or another.
Dude, I hate the losing my autonomy thing.
I've got mine. Fear of separation. My greatest fear revolves around feeling rejected, abandoned, and essentially being separated from other people. This fear traces back to the biological terror of being alone because primal isolation usually equals death. Likely, you have a strong need to belong and feel accepted by other people. You feel uncomfortable alone, and even more uncomfortable when others don't approve of you. This desire for approval may cause you to behave like a people pleaser, which may result in you presenting an inauthentic facade to the world. There is nothing more terrifying than being perceived as pathetic, useless, or unworthy by other people. Likely, you gain your self-worth from the approval of others, which can make your self-esteem weak and unstable. Triggers for you may include arguments, intimacy, vulnerability of any kind, death of a loved one, divorce, loss of friendship, and temporary separations from your loved ones. I mean, I did kind of have separation anxiety when I was a kid. Like, I would only let when I was like 2 or 3 years old, I would only let my dad leave to go to work. And that was it. Like, if my dad left the house and he wasn't wearing his work uniform, I just assumed that he was leaving the family for good and we would never see him again. So if my dad needed to go somewhere, but it wasn't work, he would have to put on his work uniform and pretend he was leaving just so he could go get something else done. Like, I don't know, maybe, like, update his driver's license at the DMV or something, but... yeah. So that makes sense for me anyway. Now, what'd you get?
Death.
Let's just go right for the root cause here.
It says you don't just fear dying. You are not scared of you are scared of not existing. Deep inside, it terrifies you to think that one day you will simply no longer be. To be annihilated or to face your own extinction one day freaks you out. You might also carry various fears or compulsions that were created as a way of avoiding the possibility of dying. planes. Avoiding certain people, places, activities, or situations. Getting on planes.
Typical planes.
The fear of death is completely normal and primal. It is wired into your DNA. For the sake of your health, happiness, and personal fulfillment, try to look deeply into your fear of death. Examine your beliefs you have about death and try to be objective. Explore your ego and its fixations. The fear of death is a product of your ego, believing that it is an isolated entity rather than an interconnected part of the whole.
So he's afraid of death and I'm afraid of separation, apparently.
Bring it on, Grim Reaper! I challenge you to fisticuffs!
I have a shovel spoon, maybe.
I'll challenge you with a frying pan.
I have a ladle and I'm not afraid to use it. Okay, so I'm betting you guys are probably wondering why we decided to do fear tests at the end of / near the late middle of May instead of October, which would have been a good thing to do back when we were doing our 30 Days of Halloween challenge that we never fully finished last year. We will try to do that again this year. I'm gonna try. We will get this done eventually. But no, the main reason why we did this, well, I think it's better if I just show you. Let me pull this up. Ta-da! I mean, it may not look like much. I mean, that is a pretty impressive photo. But this place is called Edinburgh Manor. And it's located about an hour's drive, give or take, outside of the Quad Cities where we're at here.
An hour.
And if any of you have been watching my channel fairly regularly, you know that I like going to haunted places. I've been to the cemetery with the Black Angel in Iowa City. I've been to Stony Hollow Road and read ghost stories. We tried to summon a ghost named Lucinda, but we wound up summoning a squirrel instead. So, not as scary, but still. So this place is Edinburgh Manor, and it's basically, it's your stereotypical abandoned, closed down insane asylum. It used to be way back at the way back when it was first created. It was a home for farm workers or people who didn't want to, I guess, have actual homes. They were kind of like nomadic almost, but they would stay at Edinburgh Manor and do like farm work and like manual labor in return for a place to stay. And then it got converted into an insane asylum / I guess mental hospital, sort of. And that's what it remained up until about 2010, about 9 years ago, when it got closed down. And from what I have seen, I've seen pictures of this place, and from the inside, it looks like they just shut down at the end of the day and nobody ever came back.
That's actually what happened.
Like file cabinets still have their files in them, belongings are still strewn everywhere. It's, like the staff has kept it like very nice and well kept. But they offer overnight stays for a bit of a fee, but they offer overnight stays where you can hang out in the actual insane asylum and you can check for ghosts. And they've apparently gotten some pictures of spirits, they've gotten videos, they've gotten electronic voice phenomenon, and apparently there is an actual evil spirit there called the Joker. No, not the Batman's Joker. It's a completely different Joker. May as well be the same guy. But he apparently likes to choke people. Like, he'll grab you around the throat and choke you. Maybe he should be called the Choker instead of the Joker. Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, so Joe and I, next week, are going to spend a night in Edinburgh Manor, and partially it's to knock off one of the items on my bucket list to spend the night in a haunted location. But we are gonna go there and we're gonna read some stories to the ghosts, we're gonna talk to the ghosts, we're gonna see if we can elicit some kind of reaction. Who knows? Maybe I'll get flung against a wall and choked out. I don't know, but this is gonna be the adventure of a, well, maybe not a lifetime, but the closest adventure of a lifetime we will get this year. So this is kind of the big reveal, I guess, that we're going to be doing this. So it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to play ghost hunter, I guess, and see if we can get any kind of evidence that that there's actually something haunting the place. We may get something, we may not, but it'll just be a fun thing to do either way. Either way, thank you for joining us on this lovely little fear test adventure thing today. I learned a little bit about myself. I didn't know exactly what I had fears of or was afraid of before, and now I kind of have better understanding of what I'm scared of. And that's why we took the test, to figure out what exactly we are afraid of so that we can see how exactly we're going to react to this. So if I stick with Joe and we don't get separated, I'll be fine. If Joe doesn't run into a dead person or get killed, Joe will be fine. So anyway, thank you all for joining once more. If you like this content, hit the like button, you can subscribe, leave a comment down below. It's not necessary, but it does help me out a little bit. And hopefully next time we will see you for some more murder, mayhem, and maiming. Bye everybody!